corresponding with you.
Yeah.
And you pointed out the mascot.
It's funny when you all have pictures of yourselves everywhere,
Right,
so I already know who everybody
that's
is.
right. You don't.
This is
Not yet.
not yet.
Nice. Plan on doing the whole thing or just snippets?
We have some folks in Australia who asked us to pop up that they love to see what's going on.
Right, okay.
So
you do a little live thing.
yeah,
Nice.
just makes it inclusive for them. Yeah. All of our services are hybrid, not live stream, but hybrid. And so we have the interactive technology of interactive services.
So I'm at home and I'm actually
You have the sound in the system and faces on the screen so that
actually it's quite not when I get there. Yeah, that was sort of weird. People at home were actually
So, welcome everybody. You've been listening to the Snow Monkeez. Woo! And we'd like to invite Ingrid up to say a few words of welcome.
Hi everyone. Ingrid Brown. Welcome. My name is Ingrid Brown, and I just want to welcome you into Weird Church. If this is your first time here, welcome. Notice that you did not explode when you walked in the doors of a church. I know that for some of us, that is our fear. We get close and we go, no, we're okay. We're okay. If I'm here, you know that you can be here. I'm the minister at Weird Church, and it is my honor and privilege to host everyone here tonight. And I just want to give a super big thanks to all the musicians who heard that we needed some help and said, we'd like to play some music with you. And we were like, yeah. So thank you very much. Before we carry on with tonight's performances, I just want to recognize and acknowledge that all of us here are on unceded territory. This territory that we are on does not have a treaty. You can go wherever you want. That's actually one of the rules here, is you can go wherever you want. There's no barriers to full participation here at Weird Church. So whether you are small and wandering, or not small and you like to rest, or you're just so cute, I'm so distracted. I know. Sorry. We try to make Weird Church a place where all are welcome, no matter what, no matter when. And so our policy around inclusion and anti-discrimination includes people of all races, religions, ethnicities, sexual orientations, gender identities, marital statuses, neurodiversities. However you are, wherever you are welcome in this space all the time. A few details: if you need the washroom, they're down the stairs. Sorry. We are working on an accessible washroom. Stay tuned, should be in before the summer's out. And one of the main reasons why you're here is because if you look over there, and you look up there, you'll notice that the roof is leaking. This is a heritage building, and there are really important heritage assets in this building, like the stained glass, like this organ. It is the oldest organ on the West Coast, and it is still played almost every Sunday. And we have Tracy Kobus's art on the walls. We have a rotating art gallery. We have so many important things that happen in this space, including the space itself as a heritage asset here in Cumberland. And so thank you for coming out, for supporting what we do here. And I realize now that I was distracted by this incredibly cute, tiny human and didn't finish my acknowledgement of the land that we are on. So just pausing for a moment to recognize that we are on stolen and Qualiwak territory. And anytime we gather doing anything at Weird Church, we recognize the territory that we're on because it matters. It makes a difference, especially as a church group, because the church doesn't have a great track record here. And we want to be a decolonizing and reconciling church. So if you'll join with me in a little language lesson, can you say hase? Hase. That means breath of life. Hase in Kwakwala, hase. And if you want to see your friend coming down the street, you'll go, yo wix ass. That means like, hey, what's up? Yo wix ass. That means I'm good. That's another Weird Church person. We're learning together. Anyway, if you have any questions about the roof or the building or the daycare or the food share or any number of programs or wonderful community things that happen in this place, please come and see me. And I will say no more things because you didn't come here to hear me. So thank you very much.
But one thing I would like to mention is that if you wanted to make a donation to this roof project, it's tax deductible. So over and above your, well, thank you for coming, spending money to come and listen to us play, and sharing this space. That's awesome. But if you had a little more generosity to be able to offer, they are tax deductible receipts for the roof projects. So our good friend Blaine Dunaway on the violin. My personal favorite, Bruce Wing. I'll start with a song that is like an anti-leaky roof song. And you don't have to think about roofs leaking when this is the situation. Blue skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. Birds singing a song, nothing but blue skies from now on. Never saw the sun shining so bright, never felt things going so right. Watching all the days hurrying by, when you're in love, my never saw the sun shining so bright, never felt things going so right. Watching all the days hurrying by, when you're in love, my days all up and gone, nothing but blue skies from now on. Skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies, nothing but blue skies, nothing but blue skies do I see. So this next tune we'll play for our friend Charmin. It's here somewhere. Where is she? Here. This is a song called Red Shale. A song about a coal mining town in the Crow's Nest Pass called the town of Frank. And I can't remember the year that it happened, but there was a landslide that happened there. And so in the wee hours of the morning, the side of the mountain had let go and the town was buried, and there was some survivors, but not many. And so what I thought was significant about that was when you read the stories, that they would start the day mining, and they'd have to clear out the coal that had rattled loose from the roof of the mine shaft the night before, so they always had to sort of make room to work again. And so this had gone on for quite a long time, so there were all these little inclinations that something was going wrong, but it was a metaphor to me to trust your guts, and when you get little niggles, to pay attention to them. So this is a song called Red Shale. Red shell in my pocket, prairie thunder overhead. I can taste the blood from the words I never said. Always saying hello when I'm feeling goodbye. Smiling at you and I'm dying inside. Saying yes when my heart said no. Still hanging around when I know it's time to go. Red shell in my pocket, it's a trophy of my memory. My heart has been that flake and stone till there was nothing left of me. Always saying hello when I'm feeling goodbye. Smiling at you when I'm dying inside. Saying yes when my heart said no. Still hanging around when I know it's time to go. Park the car near the rocky in that field of stone highway. All the innocence that's buried where the town of Frank still sleeps. I take the red shell from my pocket. I add to them my stone of shame. They offer me their innocence and a place to start again. No more saying hello when I'm feeling goodbye. Smiling at you when I'm dying inside. Saying yes when my heart said no. Not hanging around when I know it's time. Not hanging around when I know it's time to go. Not hanging around when I know it's time to go. I'm having an elevation problem. So I'm like a quarter of an inch high on this carpet. I'm afraid of heights. Don't want to get a nosebleed, that's right. And it's been a really long time since I've been on a stage, I have to say. So thank you for indulging this interlude. So this next song is about a leaky roof. I lived in a heritage home. Well, it could have been a heritage home. There was heritage there. It was was an old house that had been dragged up on skids onto the lot that we bought. When my former husband was handy with a lot of things, but he sort of liked a lot of projects at the same time, and so we had part of the roof taken off and part of it replaced and part of it not, and so we had this blue tarp that covered half of our roof, and he would go away. He was working on a fishing boat, so he would go, and so I'd always have to be calling someone to help me figure out how to keep the roof from leaking. So I remember one time my friend and I had bought rolls of plastic, and we were up in the attic stapling them to the eaves to make little troughs so that the rain would shoot off and make a little water slide.
That sounds like what's in the roof.
10 years we were known as the house with the blue tarp because it never got finished. So when I finally decided that I wanted to transplant myself, I called it getting out of the blue, and the blue was referring to the blues of, things not changing, and the infamous blue tarp. So this is called Out of the Blue.
Drips and counts the days that I have wanted more. The evidence collected in these pots on the floor that play a syncopated symphony of my efforts to accept. There are things that can never change with tears or regret. These four walls that speak to me, where the winter winds blow through. There are warmer places I could be if I wanted to embrace the changes waiting for my courage to renew. The day my decision that will open up with you, I'm headed out. Getting out of the blue with or without you. My troubles plenty and my chances slim. My thoughts are darkened day after day after day. Truth is dawning. Might have to be the one who's coming to rescue me. whether blue with or without you. Did it ever blue with or without you? Did it ever blue with or without you? So do fix the roof. They can look great. I had a piano at the time, and if I moved it to the outside wall, it leaked on the piano on the outside wall. I moved it to the inside wall. So I just always shoving this big piece of furniture around. It was really trying to get my attention. I was taking it personally. So this next tune is called Wishing for Someday, on a theme. Wishing for someday, wishing for life, I'm wishing everything would turn out right, and I'm thinking and wishing starry days too fine and the sky is too blue for my eyes to miss her, thinking of you. I should back my time in some other way. Music and my toes are tapping, rhythm get my fingers slipping. Before you know it, I'll be laughing. String therapy. Well, I wish I could whistle, wish I could fly. Wish I had a dollar for every tear I cried. I wish I was younger, every bit as wise. I wish there was a way we could see eye to eye. This heart was meant for love. These hands were meant for strumming. The word is out, friends are coming. String therapy. And this is too long, time is too short. The melancholies are what make a resort to by time it's so long. Wishing for someday, wishing for light, wishing everything would turn out right, and I'm thinking and wishing sky to be high. The day is too fine, the sky is too blue for my eyes to miss out, thinking of you. I should be biding my time some other way, biding my time, let's spend the day, biding my time some other way. So it's nice to have an early show where the light is still coming in, we've got sun in our eyes, and we can practice our shenanigans, because you'll be out of here in time to go to something else that's going on. So you can have your shenanigan practice. So this next tune is about living in a small town and how sometimes it can feel incubating and sometimes it can feel very nurturing and sometimes it can feel like
confining and fishbowling. So it's a song about leaving a small town because you're feeling all fishbowly and you go to a bigger town and then you kind of miss where you came from. It's called Small Town.
Turn the right, they put you down. Did what you could to catch that right at a time. And they're quick to say it didn't last. Oh, but you know it didn't have to. And the judges came, all in your head, hard to forget all the things that they said. Who you are, what you lack, what they would do if they were you. Just get them off your back, 'cause it's a big wide world, ready for a small town girl. Live a little larger and dream a bigger dream. Where you live and you learn. Sometimes you crash and burn, but that's okay. You knew it would be that way, living outside the line. Now you turn their heads, they look surprised to see you walking tall with your head held high. What did it take to make them proud and say, hey, she comes from uptown? Though sometimes those sad streets will get you down. There's people hurting people every time you turn around. You know what your neighbor drives, but you never thought the name. Now the moving truck is pulling away. Put your roots down, place to call your own. When the world goes round, life goes up and down. If you hear the love, you're safe and sound. It's a big wide world, ready for small town girls. Live a little larger and dream a bigger dream. But you live and you learn. Sometimes you crash and burn, but that's okay. You could be that way, living outside the line. Living outside the line. Living outside the
Well, we're going to do one more tune. We're going to take a little break, and hopefully there's an opportunity for you to get a coffee or a goodie or some other lip smacking confection. And sorry, I'm an idiot. It's been a long day. So we're gonna play one more tune. This is called Miss Your Exit. Sometimes you make that choice and there's, we're going home. Should listen to your, what's it called? Thing on your dashboard? GPS, what are they called? Not Siri, but you know. Somebody in the car tells you where to go. It's not your husband. When it's not the backseat driver, the electronic one. You gotta listen to that. You bend all the rules until you break your promises. Cut the ties and roll up your losses. Pick a day, it'll be like no other else. That's the day. It's always gonna haunt you when you grab that wheel and you make that turn. One thing is certain, there are lessons to be learned. Eyes straight ahead, no backward plans, 'cause the only chance you get is the one you give yourself when you miss your exit. Miss your exit. Miss your exit on your way home. On your way home. Lies on your lips, no tears in your eyes. No happy ending, that's no surprise. It shows the means, but the end is the same. 'Cause fire brings ashes after the flame. Well, some call you selfish, some call you brave. Some say it was a childish way to behave. But day by day, voices are fading. You're left with the choices you made when you miss your exit. Miss your exit. Miss your exit on your way home. On your way home. Love's no good 'cause your love's not true. She stepped out on him, she will step out on you. The failure clings just like a scent and that scarlet letter you painted on your chest. Well, people and the sticks and the stones don't live in your skin, they don't ache in your bones. Makes it hard to hate the sin that finally let you free your hand. Miss your exit. Miss your exit. Miss your exit on your way home. On your way home. Miss your exit. 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 in 800 meters goes straight home. Do you say something weird to the neighbor next to you? That's what I do.
Well behaved, everybody. Before we get started on the second half of the show, I did want to I was reminded by some folks that if you wanted to make a sizable donation or anything over sort of your ticket sales, if you wanted to give 20, or 50, or 1,000, or $10,000 towards our roof project, you will in fact get a tax receipt and a dance party and a celebration, depending on the size of the donation, of course. Adulation and gratitude, whatever really. I'll dance, I'll sing, I'll throw a street party. But we are targeting that $90,000. We've applied for a $45,000 grant from Heritage BC. It went in at 5 p.m. today. So. And send all the Heritage lots over to the people at they're actually in Duncan, so they probably got us. But if you did want to make a donation, the easiest way to do that is online. WeirdChurchCumberland.com. If you wanted to do an e-transfer, just note in the memo line it's for the roof project. It won't go towards my salary or the hydro bills or anything like that. It just goes straight to the roof and you'll get a wonderful tax receipt. So thank you very much.
much. That was a song that is called La Tierra Tiembla, and it simply means the earth shakes. I've sure been doing that a lot lately. But every time we play that song, we find get a different kind of groove going. And it's always led by the maestro here. So, Blaine Dunaway and Flugel Warren, This song's called Coal Dust Footsteps. It's a song we recorded about 5 years ago. And really it's a very brief descriptive. This is simply about putting one foot in front of the other when stuff comes your way. And Judy reminded me, she said, that's called walking, Chris.
But it is true that sometimes you get through the hard places by just putting one foot in front of the other, so not to diminish the importance of the sound of the show.
Those footsteps down the highway. You're a long way from home. Well, you don't need a reason to be on your own. What would you do if I ran away? Look out the window for me. What if I got lost on my way? Would you be there when I needed you? I've been down to see my old friend Tim. He seems happy when he's high. Well, yeah, we're all in search of spiritual perfection. Does anyone really know why? On your feet, so follow those coldest footsteps. That's what it needs to be. tune for volume wise. Okay? Can hear, but not too much.
This is our drummer, Fuzz. It's on his birth certificate, I checked.
My last name is Morisette, and I'm Alanis Morissette's younger brother.
And his middle name is Pinocchio.
And that is it, folks. We've used up all our jokes for the evening. On Fuzz's behalf. This song is called Silence Becomes a Lullaby, and it was written just a couple of years ago, just before COVID, and it's dedicated to all the health professionals out at the Views, and in particular in the dementia wing section of things. And it came about with some very personal visits to a great gal that we all continue to love dearly, Helen Brown, and she really set that place on fire. I can tell you that right now. But it's a real you don't really get to feel it, see it, and get involved with it until you actually are involved, and until it affects you or somebody in your family. And then you see all the wonderful things that are happening, around you and on your behalf and their behalf. So this is called Silence Becomes a Lullaby. We should probably dedicate this to Helen.
Worry solved by devotion. my love. Pennies in the wishing well, just on the dollar. Something still shines on the edge of tomorrow's rain, at the edge of strength, where he solved by devotion. Silence becomes, silence becomes, silence becomes, silence becomes, silence becomes a lullaby.
I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me, but I really do have little ants crawling out of my keyboard. So, many hands make light work, huh? Just do this.
What key are they in?
All of them. We once had a transistor radio sitting on the windowsill in the kitchen, like a clock radio, and I guess ants like the buzz of something plugged in, and when I turned it over, all the little holes of the speaker, they plugged their eggs into the, and I tapped it, and these, like a whole family.
That's why you didn't get in trouble on your speaker. It's all about the bass.
It's all about the bass. Things you didn't need to know, and now you do. So go home, check your transistor radios.
As long as they weren't red. Red is nasty.
Nope, they're just those little ones that get in your sugar bowl and yeah, sugar ants. Sugar cookie ants.
This is a song for our friends south of the border. We had a trip to Mexico a number of years ago, and we got an opportunity to have a real fun day with some locals, and they had relatives from all over Mexico, from Tijuana, San Diego, both sides of the border. So it turned into quite a fun day, but inevitably we started talking about Mr. T and the wall and so forth. Anyway, this is a song called Childhood Lessons.
What's going on in this world today? Someone's trying to take it all away. Too much hunger, not enough love. Just trying to make sense from those stars above. They say a wall is coming, maybe made of steel. Shines on the backs of thousands. Yes, they're really real. No more secret weapons, no more secret lies. All those childhood lessons for those baby nights. friend, is this the end? I never realized it was so near. You don't have to worry, you don't have to fear. It's just an illusion of tears. No more secret weapons, no more secret lies. All those childhood lessons for those vacant eyes.
Just like in the old days, you got a set list on the floor, but you need extra special glasses.
Musicians' binoculars.
This is a song called Diamond Tears. I wrote this about 5 years ago, and had the kids in the Middle East in mind with everything that was going on there at the time. And unfortunately, it's a song that's we're playing on over and over, and finding too many reasons to sing this song. But tonight we're going to dedicate this song to the kids in Ukraine. wish a fallen star What's your secret place in your heart? Take away with you true love. Well, I know you're leaving, 'cause I can see everything.